What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. It's going to be the Apex Legends Season 14 weapon tier list. Going to tell you guys what weapons are the best ones right now to help you guys rank up in your ranked games, or even for pubs to help you guys do a lot better in pubs if that's something you struggle with. So, got a lot of weapon changes this season. No new weapon added to the ground, surprisingly, and no new weapon at all. So, kind of just the same weapons we've had over the last couple seasons, but there are a lot of different changes and a lot of other switches and stuff, and we got some other weapons that were in the care package onto the ground now, so a lot to talk about. If you guys like these types of videos, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and share the video. I also did a Legends tier list, and I also do stream Apex Legends as well, so if you guys not want to miss that, subscribe and turn the notifications on so you guys not miss any future streams or any Apex type videos. I also do have a Discord if you guys want to go hop down in the Discord if you guys are new as well and you haven't been there. There'll be a link to that in the description. Go check that out over there. Got some people that play Apex over there as well, and a lot of other stuff, Paladin, Smite, and a bunch of other games as well. So, that being said, let's hop right into this. You guys know the deal. Starting out in D tier, I'm going to go all the way down from D tier all the way up to SS tier, which is going to be kind of your care package, like must-pick care package weapons pretty much. Starting out at D tier, we got the P2020. I don't know what to tell you guys. This is a pretty simple explanation one. The P2020 is good off drop, and that's about it. You pick it up for anything else. Even with hammer points, it is the worst gun in the game. I don't even know why it's still on the floor loot. I wish they would just take the P2020 out of the floor loot, because I think that it would even be better without it even being in the game. It's just so bad. It's so worthless. It really is. Up next, you got C tier, which I have the Mozambique, the Devotion, and the Alistar. The Mozambique right now, the problem with the Mozambique is it just gets outshined by so much other stuff. It used to be an actual, like last season, it used to be like a middle ground type shotgun with hammer points that was okay up until like mid game. You can even run late game if you're really good with it. Now it's just outshadowed by all the other shotguns. There's no reason to use it at all, even with hammer points. You kind of pick it up and you use it as a weapon until like mid game, or if you can find something else, you pick it up for another shotgun or something else. That's pretty much what it is. The Devotion got locked behind the Crafter this season. I don't know who's going to be crafting a Devotion out of the Crafter, especially when it does not have turbocharger. It's not that good of a weapon, and the majority of the time the spin up ends up just getting you killed. There's just no reason to pick it right now. Along with the Alistar. The Alistar got slightly buffed this season, but it's still really bad. I still like using the Alistar, like it's a fun gun to use, but I feel like it was either really broken, I think back in Season 11 or Season 12, when it was really busted, and then they nerfed the shit out of it and it hasn't really been the same. It's never really been that good apart from a short time, and I just don't think they know how to balance the weapon correctly. But it's okay off drop, but like you're not going to be picking it and carrying it into the late game over a lot of the other energy weapons right now. Up next, we got B tier. We got the Hemlock, the RE45, and the Sentinel. The Hemlock is kind of just an assault rifle that's kind of just there. Like, it ain't a bad assault rifle, but like the problem with it, I feel like it just doesn't have a big enough mag size. Like, you have to have it fully kitted out, and you have to have boosted loader. Boosted loader, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. It is no longer a legendary tier rarity. It's an epic tier, so you can find it a lot easier. And you can run into it a lot more on the ground and in like chests and stuff. But it just doesn't do enough damage, and if you don't have it fully kitted out, the mag size is way too low. That's the real problem with the Hemlock. It just gets outshadowed by a lot of the other ARs if you do want to run an AR, and it's just no reason to really pick it if you can't find all the other stuff. RE45 got put into the Crafter this season. I'm putting it in B tier mainly because it actually is a pretty good option off drop, especially if you can't really find any other weapons. You can quickly collect some materials, open like a few pill bottles or chests, and then hopefully have enough to craft an RE45 off drop really quick and fight with that. It is pretty good off drop, and it is pretty good up until mid game. The only problem is it just falls off late game because everybody just has way better weapons than you do, and everybody has like either yellow or red shields at that point in the game, and it's just not enough damage to knock through all the shields and get to the flesh health. That's the real problem with it. Otherwise, it ain't too bad though. It's still a pretty good weapon, if I'm being honest, especially early game. And then you got the Sentinel, which the Sentinel is just a victim of falling off because a lot of the other stuff is just really good right now. There's just no reason to really choose the Sentinel because there's so many other marksman weapons and even snipers that are just way better than it right now. And that's the real problem with the Sentinel. Nothing with it's really changed, and it actually got Deadeye Simple included into the base weapon this season. But it just gets outshadowed, and it's got outshadowed by a lot of the other weapons, and that's the main problem. Up next, we got A tier. We got the Havoc, the Triple Take, the Spitfire, and the R99. The Havoc's pretty good. If you can find a turbocharger, I think out of all the energy weapons that take turbocharger, I think the Havoc's the best. If it was with the turbocharger, I'd put it higher in this list. As a weapon by itself, though, I think it's out of the energy weapons, it ain't too bad. It's better than the Devotion, if I'm telling you guys right now, in the Alistar, 100%. But it's kind of one of those middle ground like weapons. Triple Take's still a solid option. The damage is really good. It doesn't have that much fall off. You can kit it out pretty easily. It's pretty easy to find energy ammo now as well, with a lot of the other energy ammo weapons being played a lot more. It ain't that bad, but it is kind of one of those marksman weapons that, like, if you can't find anything else, you'll take a Triple Take into late game. But if you find like a G7 or a 30-30, then you end up picking those instead. So just kind of comes down whatever you can find in that current match. Spitfire got changed to light ammo this season, and it also has a little bit more recoil. I don't think it's really broken anymore. I really don't. Yeah, it's still really brain dead to use, and it still doesn't take that much skill to use at all, but like there's just so much better weapons right now than it. There's just really no reason to use it too, especially when you just get shredded by so much of the LMGs or even like anything else that just does more damage or has a faster fire rate than you do. And that's just the real problem. Unless you're Rampage, you really don't want to be picking it unless you have to. So that's why it's A tier. And then the R99, which is just a victim of being outclassed by like a lot of the other SMGs in the game right now. It does okay damage, but like the fire rate's the only thing it really has going for it. The damage numbers aren't really the greatest compared to a lot of the other SMGs in the game that are just better than it right now. There's no reason to really pick it up over a lot of the other stuff. And that's just the real thing. Next, we got A+ tier. We got the Alternator, the Wingman, the Flatline, Longbow, Peacekeeper, and the Prowler. I think the Alternator actually got buffed this season. It is a lot better. Even Hipfire. Hipfire seems a lot more consistent with the laser sights. That's the main reason I'm putting it A+ tier, even over the R99. I'd rather have an Alternator over the R99 because I think the damage is a lot more consistent, and especially the Hipfire is a lot better now this season too. It's even better than last season, and it wasn't bad last season either. Just a really consistent weapon that you can actually bring to late game now, and it's actually a viable option of running as an SMG, especially if you can't really find much else or if you don't want to switch off and anything like that. The Wingman's still really good. Switch to Sniper ammo and it takes a bunch of sniper stuff. Skull Piercer on the weapon is great. You're doing like 100 damage for a headshot, which is crazy. Just crazy damage. If you know how to play the Wingman, I'd actually put it higher in this list, but just talking for like your average or like your casual type player that can maybe only land a couple shots per clip, like me, I'm putting it A+ tier. It has potential, but it just comes down to the player, and that's kind of why it's here. Flatline used to be a lot better. It's still an A+ tier like AR, but the Hipfire got really nerfed this patch. It's not nearly as good. It can still be a pretty good weapon if you're really looking for something like that, but kind of why it's A+ tier. Longbow got Skull Piercer. Has a really good fire rate this season, and it's just overall really good. If you're looking for a sniper rifle, I think you're looking right now at the charge rifle and the Longbow out of both of them. And then like maybe the Sentinel is like a third option. It's really good right now, and it just comes down, if you can find Skull Piercer, I'd pick it up, but overall that's why it's just A+ tier. Peacekeeper, kind of similar to the Wingman, kind of comes down to the player. If you're like me, I land like 10 to like 20 damage shots, and it ends up getting me killed most of the time. But if you're really good with the Peacekeeper, it still is really good. It's a really, really good weapon to use, and it's really satisfying, especially if you can land those huge damage shots. And then you got the Prowler, which the Prowler got incredibly buffed this season. I think it's a lot better than it was. You attach the laser sights, as long as you can have like at least a tier 2, like blue tier stock laser sight and like a mag, it shreds. It may not be that good when it's unkitted, but like as long as you can find at least like a tier 2 of everything kitted out, it just shreds. It's really good. The damage is really good, and it's pretty much impossible to miss shots with the laser sights, which made it a lot better. Up next, we got S tier. These are the weapons that are the best of the best. Some of these actually need to be nerfed, which we'll talk about as we go on, but we got the 3030, the G7 Scout, the Volt, the Car SMG, the Charge Rifle, the EVA 8 Shotgun, the Rampage, and the R301. Let's talk about them. 3030 with Skull Piercer is crazy. The amount of damage you're able to do and just you pretty much charge up a shot, even with just throwing out and just spamming your shots, you still do a shit ton of damage. You charge up a shot and then you try to spam 3 shots really fast. You can usually kill most people out that way. It's just crazy good. If you're running a marksman right now, it is either between the 3030 repeater or the G7 Scout. I do think the 3030 needs a damage nerf along with the G7. The G7 Scout's crazy right now as well. Double tap is crazy, and then it just does too much damage. The problem with the G7 and the 3030 right now is there is no drawback to not picking them in the majority of your games if you can find them, because they just do so much damage and they're too consistent, and that's the real problem they have. Hopefully they nerf the damage or something with the 3030 and the G7. Mainly the G7 though. I think the G7 is even better. Most times with the 3030, it's just a lot more consistent, especially with double tap. These are some of the guns you're going to be wanting to run every game because they're just so good. It's crazy damage. The damage numbers are too much. They need to nerf the damage, or they need to nerf something about them. I don't know. They're probably going to end up getting nerfed, hopefully. Got the Volt SMG. Probably the best energy weapon in the game. It is crazy. I actually think it does too much damage. Originally, when it was first on the ground before it went into the care package a season or two ago, it did 14 damage, I think, per pellet, and now it's up to doing 15, and it got nerfed. I think it was 16 or 17 when it was in the care package. It's doing too much damage still, especially if you can get a gold mag, or even if you can get a fully kitted out up to at least a tier 2. It just does too much damage, and that's the real problem with it. They're gonna hopefully they nerf the damage back down to 14, because it does too much damage at 15. It just melts people. Car SMG, wow, still one of the best SMGs in the game, and they even took away the ability to put a barrel stabilizer on the gun. So now you can only run a mag, and then I think a stabilizer, and then I think it's either a laser sight or it's whatever else. I know there's only 3 things you can run on it now, but it's just crazy. It's crazy. It's still really good. The damage numbers are still great, and it's still a pretty easy SMG to use, especially up close. Its medium range ain't that good for an SMG compared to a lot of the other ones, but up close it shreds, and it's very easy to use. If you want an SMG, the car is always a good option. Charge Rifle is still just as good as it was, especially being on Kings Canyon this season. It is still just probably the best sniper in the game. The most consistent damage, and it's just the best one in the game. If you want consistent, easy damage, and you want to just farm damage and farm shields, and that's your main priority of the entire game, you look for a Charge Rifle, and that's what you use the entire game. I don't think it needs to be nerfed, but I do think it's really good. And I think just mainly just because it's on Kings Canyon. It's always been a really good weapon on Kings Canyon, because it's a lot of open area and a lot of long range fights you end up getting into. EVA got a bunch of buffs this season. They buffed its damage, they gave it double tap, they gave it a stock to control the recoil a little bit better, and they gave it more fire rate and better reload with the shotgun bolts. It's crazy. It's not really a weapon that you use in medium range. You gotta be right in somebody's face to use it, but if you are right on somebody, it just does a fuck ton of damage, especially with double tap. It's really good. If you're good with the EVA 8, I'd pick it up. I think it's probably one of the best shotguns in the game. It really is. I got the Rampage in S tier because for the sheer fact that if you want it to be good, you need a thermite. They give you 1 thermite grenade in the care package. After that, the base, it's still okay. It still does okay damage, but you want to have a thermite on the Rampage. After you use the 1 thermite grenade they give you, especially late game from the care package, the gun becomes considerably less useful. It ain't bad at all. It still does really good damage, but you want to have a thermite, and that's the one reason out of the care package weapons why I'm putting it S tier over all the other ones. Is just because mainly you just need a thermite, and after you use that 1 thermite from the care package, it becomes a lot less useful. And then you got the R301, which, what do I even say about the R301? Nothing with it has changed, and it is still an insanely good, easy to use weapon that is just really consistent. There you go. And then for S tier, we got got all the care package weapons. Kraber, the Mastiff, and the Bowcheck. These are all weapons that are just really good to use. The bow is really good, does really consistent damage. The Kraber is the Kraber. You want to pick it up if you're looking for a sniper. Even late game, it's crazy. You need it on your team. You need to pick it up. And then the Mastiff, which is still really good. It got a slight nerf, I think, to some of the projectile size at like medium range. But it's still insanely good up close, and it's still a really good weapon. And there you have it, guys. That is the Season 14 weapon tier list. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. 100% opinionated list, so if there's some stuff I did not talk about or you did not agree with, let me know in the comments down below. If you guys like these videos and want more in the future, leave a like, subscribe. And if you're new, share the video. And I'll see you guys in a future video. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for watching.